Hey, welcome to all you triathletes, swimmers, riders, and runners, newbies and 10-timers, 8-hour finishers, or 16-hour survivors. We're age group gurus doing the homework, gathering the insights, answering your questions to make you faster, fitter, and fresher in triathlon training, multi-sport training, and especially on race day. I'm your host, Steve Harper with MultiSport Mojo and TriGearGuru.com, and alongside me is my good buddy, Ironman certified coach Kirk Taylor. Kirk.
Hey, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. We're both age groupers, Ironman, triathlon, and marathon vets, and everything else multi-sport in between. Here to get you to, at Valentine's, I've got that Valentine's cookie in my mouth. I can't get through the intro. Here to get you from start to finish. Remember to like us on Facebook at MultiSport Mojo. That's all one word, where you can weigh in and ask questions. We'll answer them in an upcoming podcast. Follow us on Twitter at hashtag MultiSport Mojo, all kinds of good stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at MultiSport Mojo. See this video and all other kinds of content out there. And go to TriGearGuru.com for more content, insights, and great prices on everything triathlon. Running, go to RunGearGuru.com. Biking, go to RideGearGuru.com. Swimming, you guessed it, go to SwimGearGuru.com. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Try Hard Triathlon Coaching, specializing in getting you across the finish line in your first triathlon and beyond. Contact Try Hard, T-R-I Hard, on their Facebook page at Try Hard Coaching. AZRadio.live, your home for independent music artists. Discover them here and promote the betterment of your community. Big Mike's Recording Studio.
Big Mike.
Headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona. Need to record an album, broadcast, a radio show, polish up your blogs, Facebook Live feed, or even record a podcast? Contact Big Mike's Recording Studio at AZRadio.live and get all the polish of a professional recording studio at a price that fits your startup budget. Happy Valentine's Day, Kirk. You brought the Valentine's cookies, and they're yummy.
Yeah, well, I can't take credit for them. It's just one of the offerings here at the studio today.
Yeah, you didn't bake. You didn't bake those.
No.
Well, you should show
no baking, but it has been a day of culinary delights.
Look at that. How does that look?
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Looks yummy.
And I had a fabulous brunch this morning at the movie theater. A massive bag of popcorn.
Wow.
Butter, a little in the middle, and a lot on the top. That's my little jingle. When they ask me, you want any butter on this? A little in the middle and a lot on the top. You like that?
I
wrote that.
You need some kind of a
little in the middle and a lot on top.
That's what I was asking for. I want you to sing.
I know. I got it. There's no off switch.
Hey, listen, we've got a special guest today. We'd like to introduce our good buddy, all the way from Denver, Colorado. If you're on the YouTube live feed, you can see him. If you're on the Facebook live feed, you're going to have to listen to him. But imagine if you're on the Facebook live feed, a handsome, strapping young guy, and then put that all aside and imagine a school in Denver, Colorado, who's working his tail off to stay in shape and do Ironmans and marathons. Buddy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Many of you will recognize him from his starring role in the hit TV series 24.
I'd never put that together. Do you think?
I've never heard that before.
What's his name?
Never heard that before.
What's that, guys? Are you ever mistaken? Is he your doppelganger? Is that it?
What's his name? Yeah, ever since high school. I don't see it, but apparently a lot of other people see it.
Yeah.
A lot of other people see it. I don't know. I
just like when I see Kirk, I can't. Is it Brad Pitt or is it Kirk Taylor? I don't know.
George Clooney.
Oh.
George Clooney. No,
he's got more than I do. Ha! Take that, George.
No, I don't have one. When I was younger, people thought I looked like Matthew Broderick, and then I lost my hair and all those comparisons.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I've seen pictures of you with hair. Yeah. I can see Matthew.
Stanley Tucci.
So
when we first met you, Steve, we used to call you the Stanley Tucci guy.
Oh, behind my back. Of
behind
course.
your back. We didn't know who you were.
You would never say that to my face.
You were the Stanley Tucci guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh? All sorts of really good personal stuff coming out here on Valentine's Day.
We used to be
awesome.
friends.
I won't tell you what my wife got me for Valentine's Day. I'll tell you guys off air. It's embarrassing and hysterical all at the same time.
Oh,
No.
so we're gonna need comments
Yeah.
to get this out of him.
Yeah, if there are enough comments that come in, I might divulge at the end of the podcast.
We need requests.
It's a toupee.
Good.
What did Mrs. Harper get for Steve for Valentine's Day?
Well, our producer Jimmy was just saying that from his sweetheart, he got some cologne, and I thought, well, I wish mine had been that good.
I got some chocolates.
When you've been married for 30
and she
years.
went to the movies with me.
Oh, geez. See, I don't. Oh, no, I wish it had been as good as Old Spice. I wish.
I'll tell you one I like is Mankind. I don't have any of it, but there's our bishop.
Cologne called Mankind?
Yeah, our bishop at church. He wears this cologne called Mankind, and it smells really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about you.
One to check out.
Well, if we get enough comments, I'll tell you what my sweetheart of 30 years gave. It's no longer about, I think from the guy's side, you're just trying desperately to keep their attention and do something kind.
I'm amazed how long you've been working that cookie.
Hey, well, I'm the one talking. But from their side,
Doesn't stop me.
It's all comedy. They know that you're trying to hang on as tight as you can. And so they just mess around with you. They just mess around because they can, because you're not going to leave. You can't leave. They just mess. All right. I need to stop right here.
Wow.
If you've got questions, I'll divulge in what it is. Hey, listen, we've got Scott here. He's our buddy. He lived here for 11 years. We trained. We did races together in Scottsdale, Arizona, where it's nice and warm. He's now moved to Denver.
I don't think any of these are going to make it home.
They may not make it through the podcast.
Probably not.
Jeez.
Jimmy, you're going to have to get in here.
So he moved to Denver, and now we do a lot of this going back and forth. But we still go to races together. We don't get to train as much together, but we still go to races. Today, we wanted, since we got our buddy in here, we wanted to talk about traveling to races. I know a lot of first-timers have questions about, the training. I'm starting to get my training dialed in. We've talked about how to choose a race. If you choose a race that's away from home, what do you do? We get a lot of questions about that. What do you bring? How soon do you get there? What do you eat when you're there? How do you sleep? So let's start with that. Hey, we've what's the last race we did together? What's the last race?
St. George Marathon.
Well, it's you and me.
Yeah.
We did St.
George. Oh, you're talking about the three of us.
Yeah, the three of us. What's the last race the three of us did? Scott, do you remember?
I think it was Ironman Oceanside.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah, which is in the spring.
Was that
maybe,
April?
Was
that 2 years ago?
I think
so.
Like
2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Almost 2 years ago.
Was
Yeah.
2017?
So you were, wow, where'd the time go? Holy smokes. What was that? It used to be last year. Now it's not last year anymore. So Scott was coming from Denver. Kirk and I were coming from Phoenix, and all headed to Oceanside to do the Ironman 70.3. Any thoughts? Just general thoughts about traveling. How soon do you like to get to a race? We'll just jump through some of these questions. How soon do you like to get to a race? Well, before we do that, do you like to go to a race?
Yes.
Or do you like to do a race in your backyard? We just had the Phoenix Marathon last weekend.
Yeah.
Would you rather do the Phoenix Marathon, or would you rather go to St. George or Oceanside or Santa Rosa or Boulder what do you think?
Ask the guest.
Scott, what do you like to do?
Well, I think the first, few races I did were half marathons, then marathons. And I think for a long time, they were all in my backyard. And you just think, well, it's convenient because it's right there and you have to be there so early that it's right there. But then, you guys got me doing the St. George Ironman. Then we started doing the St. George Marathon, then St. George Ironman.
Right.
And I got to tell you, like the difference between doing like the St. George Marathon versus the Phoenix Marathon, which is in your backyard. I loved it. I loved traveling. I loved going to Oceanside with you guys, and the whole experience for me. It just makes it this big weekend experience, and I think I would much rather do that.
You'd much rather go somewhere.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of planning and there's a lot of things you have to do to prepare, and it's a lot harder and it's a lot more expensive because you have to get a place to stay. You know, but it just makes it's like a vacation with your buddies, and you throw in a race, you know.
It does seem like that, right? When it's a local race, you think about the race. Even though you go to register and you go to the expo and you do some of those same things. For me, if it's a local race, God, you got to wake up extra early. You got to get there. And then you go knock out the race and you go home and take a nap and think about what's for dinner. When you travel, it's a lot of fun. And when you do it with buddies, and that's why we wanted to talk about this today. Oh, it's a whole lot of fun. Traveling solo, I've traveled solo. I went with my wife and we had a great time. But when you travel with a bunch of friends and even their families and you land someplace, it's a whole lot of fun and you throw a race into it. And it's a kick.
Yeah.
It's a kick. 2 thumbs up on doing a race with a bunch of buddies and traveling together. What's difficult about traveling to a race? What do you think, Scott? Hardest part?
Well,
for you?
You know, it depends on what it is. I mean, if it's an Ironman, then an Ironman, you're loaded down with gear. I mean, you have your bike, you have your bike, you have everything. And so getting all of your stuff where it needs to be is a pain.
Yeah.
And so that definitely requires planning and thought and planning.
Right.
Have you ever used a bike packing service? You've just always hauled your bike on the back of the car, right? Like you've never flown to a race?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Have you? That's true. I've never flown to a race with my gear. I mean, I've flown to races. I haven't flown to a triathlon. I've flown to marathons, but I haven't flown to a tri where I've had to bring a bike or rent a bike or get gear.
So those of you who have flown to races and, taken your bike, you prefer to take your bike, have it boxed up, or do you just want to rent a bike when you get there?
Yeah, weigh in on Facebook or YouTube. This would be good, and we'll follow up with you on a post and try to put some of that insight in there. I like to drive to races if it's a tri, and there are enough Ironman triathlons now on the west side of the states. We're in Scottsdale, so we can go to Oceanside, we can go to Boulder, we can go to Santa Rosa, we can go to St. George. I mean, that's all of that's drivable. And they're all great races, and they're all. I would, I've thought about, when you go to the expos and you see the people picking up their bikes, for bike transport, or you're renting a bike, there are some challenges there, but we just haven't, the races I've done, I've just not had to worry about that. Scott, you talked about packing. What do you always, do you have a bit of a ritual? Do you have a process? What do you do?
Well, I'm more of the newbie here. I've done 6 Ironman 70s, so I'm well behind you guys. But
That's a lot.
So I think
you've done enough to where you've got it down.
Yeah, and for newbies, and I think your podcast, it's for the new guys, the new ladies. I mean, I think there's so much, especially in Ironman, there's so much to think about, and there's so much, when you do a marathon, you have shorts, a t-shirt, and good shoes, you're fine. But an Ironman or triathlon, any triathlon, there's so much gear, and everything has to be just so that, if you're, I mean, I would recommend, honestly, your first couple, have a spreadsheet. Do a little Excel spreadsheet where you have everything, because you're gonna forget something. And I think as
first timers, there are things you don't know to bring.
Yeah, for sure.
There are things you don't know to bring. To bring. We talked about it transitions. You may think to bring Vaseline or Glide, but you don't think to bring it, depending on the race, if you have multiple transition spots, to bring multiple sets of Glide or Vaseline. You don't think about bringing new socks maybe for the run, or a different pair of socks for the run or the ride. You don't think about bringing stuff just in case the weather goes sideways. I mean, we've got a list at AZRadio.live. If you search for it, you can find a great list, at least a packing list for marathon and for triathlon. Yeah. And that's helpful. What about you, Kirk? thoughts about prepping for the race or prepping to travel to a race? Do you have a process?
I always make a checklist.
Yeah.
When I'm packing.
Yeah.
So I'll say, all right, what do I need for the swim? Got to have a swim cap, got to have the wetsuit, got to have the goggles. Boom. Got to have your onesie or whatever it is you're wearing underneath that, your tri-suit. And then, and so, all right, check. I want to have a towel. I want to have a water bottle. We talked about this before. I want to have a little water bottle that I can rinse my feet off with in case my feet pick up debris coming out of the water on the way to the bike. Because it's just a pain to have to wipe all that crud off your feet before you get your shoes on.
That's great.
So then you say, okay, is there anything that I need to have in my T1 bag, in the bike gear bag, aside from all the bike gear, your helmet, shoes, etc., your glasses, and do you want to, you're going to put socks on or not? You're going to have a fresh tuba, so whatever, you just make that list and you categorize it. So what do I need for swim? What do I need in the bike bag? What do I need in the run bag? What do I want in my special needs bags? If you're doing a full, for example, and just kind of check them off as you go. I just kind of pile everything up and check it off, and then I'm, because it's just this horrible feeling, to get on the road and you think, oh crap, I didn't bring the bottle.
Right. You don't want to be the guy, and it's always at an Ironman. I hear it every race morning in T1 as everybody's going. Does anybody? This is the race director. Does anybody happen to have an extra wetsuit? Athlete that has forgotten his wetsuit. Or swim cap. How many guys you see get in the water without a swim cap? And if you may have gotten one in the race, but man, I always bring another one just in case I flip and totally forget to bring the one that I got from check-in. Hey, or goggles, or holy cow! I mean, Scott's right. There's so much stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know what I do? Here's what I do. I start packing. If I'm going to leave on let's see, if it's a Saturday race and we're going to travel on whatever Wednesday, Thursday, and we're gonna leave whatever Tuesday. I start packing 3, 4, 5 days before that. I put a bag out and I've got my list and I start putting stuff in my bag. And it's a little OCD, but and then I look at it every day because every day I think, here I gotta forget this, or because I'm still finishing training, so there's stuff that I'm gonna still be using before I'm right, and I don't want to forget that.
Yeah, like your run shoes, your bike shoes, your bike helmet, all that stuff.
Hey, talk about, let's talk about.
I like to back up about a month ahead of time because it really helps me with the taper. I don't want to do too much. If I put everything in the bag about a month ahead of time, then
it's killing me.
Then I'm not as likely to put in.
All right, listen,
too many
all you guys,
miles
just ignore him. Just ignore him on that. If I like to pack 3, 4, 5 days ahead, and if that's good and that gives you peace of mind, because packing and going to a race is all about peace of mind and having the right stuff. If it takes me 3, 4 days and I have a bag out and I go, that's what I do.
So what I don't understand is if there's so much forethought that goes into the packing, how is it possible that this guy goes through every shelf and every item and walks out with 2 huge bags at the expo?
That's a whole other thing. I love that. It's everything in one place, but that's right. A podcast.
Come on.
Podcast. So let's talk about eating and sleeping when you get to the race.
Actually, one of the things that we got to talk about, since we touched on the topic of gear and swim gear, and we have a special guest on, we were talking about this guy before when we were talking about snorkels.
I knew you were going to go there.
Here's the guy. He's right here. We gotta get the
snorkel. The front snorkel. The one that goes, not the one that goes out the side that you see the guys in Cayman on your cruise go jump. No, it's the tri-snorkel that goes over the front.
It's a swim training snorkel.
I know, but still.
Yeah. Well, you're right. A lot, people may not know. We got to get the story. What's up with the snorkel? Tell us the story of the snorkel.
Oh, well, so, that was my weakness. My very first Ironman, that was my fear, my anxiety. Like everybody you talk to about doing an Ironman.
The swim, you're saying, was your fear.
The swim.
Just
the swim,
to have to,
which is for us having experienced many Ironman races, we know that the swim is the easiest of the three.
But
not on that is the thing that everybody worries about. Everybody brings that up. Oh my, I would do it except for the swim. And so it is a huge, and that is a thing for a whole different podcast. But I was terrified, just like everybody else who hasn't done an Ironman. I was terrified of the swim. And so that was my crutch. The snorkel was my crutch. When I started training, I could not swim. I probably couldn't swim 2 laps when I started training. And so that was my thing. I allowed myself this thing, and it became my crutch. And I used it for, I don't know, maybe a third of the actual race before I ditched it. But it was, it was my crutch. Oh, yeah.
Ditched it in the water? At St. George.
I just let it hang.
I don't know this part of the story.
What?
Oh, yeah, no.
Well,
I just let it hang to the side. It was attached. It was clipped onto my, oh, yeah.
You're swimming, and it's just flailing. Oh, this is classic.
Yeah.
Oh, this gets
I know what I was asking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And so.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, whatever it takes, right? I mean, we're not going to give you a hard time.
Keep going. This is good.
I know. No, I've been doing this for 4 years now. That is the thing that I will be doing, and it's all fine. It's good. But no, I mean,
you don't use it anymore, though. Now you're good.
Yeah, I'm fine. Haven't used it since. I'm good.
So why'd you decide to just take it out of your mouth?
Because it was just annoying and in the way.
But had you practiced with it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, every swim. I was the guy. It was me. It was me and all the, and look, I'm not going to say it, but it was me and all the older people. You know,
okay.
So it was,
we are
right, we love old guys. But and it was my thing, and if that's what you need, that's what you need.
Right.
Right. And I'm not going to judge people if they're little, and it's fine.
No way, man. No, you do what you got to do.
We're all trying to get to the finish line, and you do it. You do it.
Right. Hard. Okay. Before we lose you, because we're running out of time, I want to talk about 3 things. I want to talk about sleep when you're traveling on a race. I want to talk about eating when you're at the race, and I want to talk about being with buddies. And you want to talk about more of the snorkel. All right. Talk about sleep, Scott. I know early on. When we would travel together, all of us, and we would do marathons together, you had a difficult time sleeping the night before the race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we would go somewhere. Yeah. Talk about that.
Yeah. You're no matter what, you're not going to sleep. You just won't, because you have to get up at 3:30, 4 in the morning for the race. You're nervous. You're uptight. You're eating funny food. You're going to get 4 or 5 hours sleep maybe, and you just have to count on it.
Do you try to go to bed earlier? Do you try to go to bed?
I could try to go to bed earlier, but if you're not, you know your own body. If you're not tired, if you're so
you go to bed at 8 and just lay there.
Yeah, and why would you do that? If you're with your buddies, why would you do that? Just enjoy your time and not worry about it, and you're not going to sleep, and you're going to be the next morning. You're going to be full of adrenaline, and you're going to be pumped up, and you're going to be excited. It won't matter in the morning. It won't matter for the race because you're so excited for the race. That won't matter. It will matter when you're done. When you're done with the race, go have lunch, go do whatever, and then you're going to sleep 10 hours that night. But the night before, you're just count on it. You're not going to sleep.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm kind of this. I think now that it's part of the process, I fall asleep a little easier. But I'm with you. It still takes a while. Now I do melatonin. It's a good first timer advice. Take melatonin to your race, and it'll help you go to sleep. But if you haven't used it in the past, or if you use it too much, it can keep you awake. We watch a movie. It's easy to stay up really late the night before and just get a couple hours of sleep. Talk about when we travel to a race, and because it's fun, and we take the families, we like to get there a couple of days ahead, and it's all about it's going to find good food. So what do you know, which is kind of out of your rhythm? Do you try and still eat good? Do you try and just eat whatever? What do you like to do?
You have to be, especially, I think, we're older. I think you have to be really careful. And I know you and I have been very careful, like, okay, where do we want to go? What do we want to eat?
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. And you just, I think you have to be careful and don't go nuts. Like the whole carb loading thing is not my thing at all.
Yeah.
I want to be comfortable.
That's really interesting because I think people freak at newbies, first timers, or if you've done a couple, really get zeroed in on carb loading the day before the race. Races have pasta dinners.
Yeah,
Not for you. What about you, Kirk? Do you worry about pasta? I know what Kirk does with food in a race. Yeah. It's a buffet intent. It doesn't matter to you on carb load. You want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Traveling to a race, where it's families, we're all going somewhere.
Yep.
You don't worry about, no, we all got to go to the spaghetti dinner.
No. That's a bunch of hoo-ha. It's a myth, and I don't practice it.
Yeah.
I think what you want to eat the night before is the same stuff you ate the night before you did your long run or your long training workout. Yep. Eat that. Do that.
You don't want something heavy, right? I mean, you don't want to put down a 26-ounce steak.
Right. Exactly.
But you want to eat normal, right?
Yeah. So if you plan on having a bunch of pasta the night before, well, you ought to do that, a few times in training so that, if that's going to work for you.
Right.
6 or 7 years ago, Kirk drove me up to St. George for the marathon.
Yeah.
You fed me something. You fed me something in Vegas.
It was Argentine food. I even know this story. 5
or 6 years ago, I'm still digesting that food. So
I know what to eat on the way to a race.
So lucky.
Let's go to a Argentine restaurant and eat as much meat as we can.
What are you trying to do to me, Kirk?
I think he was he wanted to finish in front of you.
Yeah.
In case anyone's wondering, it's called El Rincón de Buenos Aires. It is in Vegas. It is absolutely fabulous. They will bring you a full asado on grill, on the coals, on the glowing coals.
Yeah. It sounds great for on the way home from the race.
Empanadas, milanesas, whole deal.
Yeah. Now afterwards, after the race, then go nuts. Go nuts after the race.
Yeah.
But before the race, no. Do what you always do.
There's the difference. I practice with the Argentine food. You don't. There you have it.
That's awesome. All right. Talk about traveling to stay. I've stayed in hotels. We've stayed in condos. When we had the last one that the three of us were at together, we stayed at a condo on the beach, right down from the right around the corner from the start of the race. So we walked to T1 and the race start. The race literally went right by the condos, so the families could look out the patio and or stand right on the corner and watch. We could walk down to the finish. Man, it was you like to all stay together. You like to stay, even though you're traveling, stay separate. What do you like? Scott, what do you like? Do you like staying all together?
For me, like a marathon, I like to stay with my buddies. And but as long, there's no I don't know. I mean, if I'm the slow guy, go ahead, go ahead, that's fine. But I've enjoyed staying with my buddies. An Ironman, you can't really do that. An Ironman, you're pretty much on your own.
No, I mean staying.
The accommodations.
We're going to drop you like a hot rock if you're slow. We know that during the race, but I'm totally joking now. Yeah, I mean staying
at the condo
hotel. Do you
hotel.
Talk about staying all together? Do you like that?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I missed. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah, that's been great.
It's not annoying. It doesn't get in the way.
No, you learn things about your friends you didn't really want to know.
Didn't know he was going to go there. Do you like? This is me. I like being with my buddies.
Yes.
I like, and the family's going to know this. You talk about it. Family's going to know the three of us we're going to go here. We're going to go there. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. And then we'll come back for family dinner. And then we're going to, I think it's part of the absolute kick of traveling to a race with your buddies and doing everything together. Going to Reg, going to the expo, going on go get loose on a run, go walk on the beach, talk. I think that's one of my favorite things is you're getting your bikes ready together. You're cleaning things together. You're laying your stuff out together. You're talking about, hey, what are you going to do? Let's walk through the race course together. You have buddies to bounce ideas off of and really dial you in and settle you down. I really, really like that.
Yeah, we need to get,
because ultimately, it's about the stories. Like, you have stories that you share with your friends for the rest of your life, and if you're not together, you're not going to have those stories.
Yeah, that's great. I don't really remember times in races. I mean, I don't remember PRs and how I felt and how I did. What I really remember are when we've traveled to races, the things we've done together, or running together, or riding together during the race, or hanging out at the restaurant before, or chilling out after the race. I mean, that's just so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yep, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
Hey,
so you in for the next one, Jimmy? No, triathlon. Yeah, swim, bike, and run. Prior to, yeah, sure. Day before, yeah, of course. We'll go drive the course.
Yeah. We got a couple of questions. We'll wrap this up with favorite race to travel to. Favorite race to travel to. Well, let's do two.
Well,
favorite race to travel to and the one race you love to travel to. Where's the one race, marathon, triathlon, road race? You pick a favorite race you've traveled to, favorite race you'd love to go to that you haven't done.
Yeah, so we were in Coeur d'Alene. That was just awesome. Super.
Ironman Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, we were there for race day. I was not in the race. I always wanted to do it, but we just happened to be on vacation there the day of, and it was amazing. So dang cool.
Favorite race you'd love to go to?
Kona.
Yeah.
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 Of course.
So my story's like yours, but the favorite race that I've been to has been Kona. I was on the media team a few times, and so having being the periodic bug, being there in Kona, being inside with the media pass, being inside the transitions with the athletes, being inside the finish. Oh man, I mean, I took the hook and swallowed it hard. Race that I'd love to go to, race that I would love to go to. I'd love to go, I'd love to do like the London Marathon. I'd love to do the New York Marathon.
Yeah.
Or Boston. I'd love to do the Boston Marathon. I know there are Ironman races in amazing places, and I'd take them all. But I'd love to do one of these iconic marathons. All right, Scott, your favorite race you've been to and one that you'd love to go to?
I think you took them. You took them all. I really loved Oceanside Ironman. And I think part of it was because, with the amazing condo on the beach and just the whole experience and all the things that we've talked about, absolutely loved Oceanside. Plus, I'm from there, so that was nice. One I'd love to go to, I would love to do an Ironman really anywhere in Europe. I just think that would be, and again, same reasons. Take all your buddies, go. Take your family, go, and just have
that would be such a fun trip. All right, we got to get that on the calendar. And Ironman in Europe, and we're all going. I don't know if you take the kids. Whew, that's another conversation. That could be
another mortgage on my house.
Life trip. Best trip. Okay, last question. The one thing you always forget to bring to a race when you travel. Is there one thing you always seem to forget? Or if you can't think of it, one thing you did forget, you kicked yourself. I can tell you while you're thinking, I went to a race where the weather went sideways and cold, and I didn't bring cold weather gear for the ride. I didn't bring gloves. I didn't bring a bike jacket. I didn't bring longs. I didn't bring booties, and I paid for it on the ride. I finished, but I paid for it. What about you guys? Have you forgot? What have you forgotten? Have you ever forgotten to bring something and thought, oh, son of a...
Well, I think I would agree with you. That was that St. George Ironman that we did. And I think it was a lack of awareness on my part. You know, just not, because we had done it the year before. I had finished it. It was great. It was hot. And just not being aware that, oh, it's like the weather can turn south very quickly. And I know you guys have addressed that on a previous podcast.
Well,
but
planning,
just
right?
lack of awareness.
You don't forget.
Yeah, lack of awareness.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
what about you, Kirk?
I don't know. I don't know that I don't think I've really ever
You
forgotten
haven't had a
a
goof?
piece of gear.
What's one thing you would not forget if you were going to an Ironman?
Well, I don't know. The thing is that you can replace just about anything that you may end up leaving behind.
Right.
You know, I mean, unless it's something like really personal, say,
Yeah.
like your contact lenses or something.
Right.
You know, say you've got your glasses on and you just happen to leave your contact lenses behind. That can change the dynamic of a race for somebody.
Oof.
You know, if you're used to running with your contacts in and you now all of a sudden don't have them, that's something they can't replace at the expo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can run on new shoes, you could bike on new shoes, you can get a new helmet. I mean, you can replace just about
But don't forget those critical
a personal artifact like that you race with.
Oh, man.
And that's that was relevant to me. When I first started getting into triathlon, I was only wearing glasses at the time. And so I remember, you know, having to figure out, okay, where am I going to leave my glasses? And it was just a hassle. So that was actually part of the impetus behind actually going back to contact lenses.
Really?
I'd been away from them for years. And
Wow.
yeah, I was like, I think this whole thing would be a whole lot easier if I didn't have to mess with my spectacles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, right. I mean, so bringing it all back, planning is a huge part. Get a list. You can find the list on trygearguru.com and rungearguru.com if you got marathon lists or tri lists. Have a list. Pack ahead of time if you need to. Sleep is going to be difficult. Eat what you normally eat or eat what you've eaten for the night before races. Don't forget your personal stuff. Are we missing anything critical?
The hostess cherry pie. That's it.
Hey, Scott, thanks for joining us today, buddy. We'll have to get you on a future podcast. It's been fun to hang out.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, dude, you're the best.
Thank you.
You're the best. Hey, that's all the time we've got. Kirk and I want to thank you for joining us today. Remember, like us on Facebook at MultiSport Mojo, where you can weigh in and ask questions. We'll answer them in an upcoming podcast. Thank you to everybody for watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We love you. You can follow us on Twitter at #MultiSportMojo. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at MultiSport Mojo. And go to trygearguru.com for more content and insights and great prices on everything triathlon. Running, go to rungearguru.com. Biking, go to swimming, you got to go to swimgearguru.com. We want to thank our sponsors, TryHard Triathlon Coaching. Contact TryHard on their Facebook page at TryHard Coaching. AZRadio.live, your home for independent music artists. Discover them here and promote the betterment of your community. They had a killer show today. If you want to know about AZRadio.live, oh my gosh, amazing. Cadillac Angels. If you go there, just look at what they did today. Through the roof. Big Mike's Recording Studio.
Big Mike.
Contact Big Mike's Recording Studio at AZRadio.live and get all the polish of a professional recording studio at a price that fits your startup budget. This is the MultiSport Mojo podcast. Triathlon age group gurus doing all the homework, gathering all the insights, answering all your questions to make us faster, fitter, and fresher in triathlon and multisport training. Here to help you get from start to finish. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, Scott.